that you are really treasuring this time and getting a chance to meet some new people here as we gather. My name is Melody Gonzalez, and it is my true honor to serve as UC San Diego Alumni Association president. I am also the first Latina to serve in that role, so that gives me especially a lot of joy. And just a few weeks ago, I had a chance to speak at graduation, something I shared with the students I never imagined that I would do. As a little girl who grew up in Chula Vista with grandparents in Tijuana and San Isidro here, there's so many dreams that I didn't know were there for us to dream about. And so I shared on that stage how I never imagined that I'd have the opportunity to work for two presidents. I served for President Joe Biden as well as President Barack Obama. I've had a chance to work for governors, Congress, national organizations, here locally as well with our NBC News station and local Chamber of Commerce. And I think, a lot of times we don't know as students or fresh graduates where our journeys are going to take us. But I also have to say that as somebody most recently who served at the U.S. Department of Education, I was executive director for an office called the White House Initiative on Advancing Educational Equity, Excellence, and Economic Opportunity for Hispanics. I also never imagined the attacks that we're seeing against higher education today. I never imagined that in the new hours of a new administration, my old office would be killed. The next day, my staff put on leave. Staff fired. Friends fired, then not fired, then fired again after all, so that half of the department is now decimated and gone. So I think we're gathering here at a moment where we need to, especially as alumni, be bolder and more courageous than ever before, because our students, our campus, our UC system is really depending on us. I'm grateful that as an alumni, I found some community through the Washington, D.C. Alumni Club. So I want to take a moment and give a shout out. Where are our regional club leaders? If you're a regional club leader, if you could raise your hand. Take a look at these folks with hands raised. Make sure you get a chance to talk to them. And I also want to give a special thank you to our board members who are here today. We have a good number. Raise your hands nice and high. Please take a moment to see our board members, talk to them, because we're here to build community, right? And hopefully if you are not yet a board member, maybe that's a pipeline and position you can transition into as well. And just to give you a little bit of background on the board, our board has three different formal committees. So one focuses on philanthropy, one on student engagement, another on alumni engagement, and then we also have ad hoc committees. For example, we have a team of our board members that are focused on helping make sure we complete that King Triton statue over in Price Center, and a team of us that are also working hand in hand with the staff to make sure that we're on track, fundraising and getting ready for our new Triton Alumni Welcome Center, which we had a chance to visit yesterday. We gathered as a board yesterday, and it was really just such a beautiful experience. We started at a restaurant I hope you all will enjoy, because it's called Destiny Coast and overlooks the ocean. It's part of the Scripps Institute of Oceanography campus, where we had a chance to tour and get to see some really amazing work that our students and our faculty are leading there on campus. We had a chance to hear about Triton GPT, some cutting-edge AI work that's happening on campus. We also had an opportunity to sign our names on the walls of the construction site of the new Triton Alumni Welcome Center. So please definitely make sure you pay attention to that project. It will start to open up next year and will be really a point of pride for our campus, because we'll have not only a Triton Alumni Welcome Center there, but also a space to support students' physical and mental well-being, and some really wonderful projects there. And we also spent time yesterday talking about advocacy. And there'll be a breakout workshop that Natalie on the staff team will be leading with Carl. Is Carl here today too? Carl, he'll be around. So you'll get a chance to learn a little bit more in that session too, but I do have to just say that as we were meeting, some of these emails were starting to come up to us from the UC system, and I wanted to make sure we take a moment here to make sure you're all aware. Yesterday, the federal government demanded $1 billion from the University of California, Los Angeles, which we know is just an attempt to really devastate one of our sister campuses and public education. And if you think about it, our campuses, whether it's UCSD, UCLA, or others, they serve multiple purposes. Not only are they educating today's students and tomorrow's leaders, but they're also economic engines. They're literally saving lives. We just had a walk, the Cure-Bound Cancer Walk here on campus, where we heard the stories. I heard the testimonial of one man who was diagnosed with cancer. They just gave him months to live. But because of our UCSD care and clinical trials, he's here now 4+ years later, right? This is game-changing work that our campuses are doing. So if you have your cell phones out, I'm going to ask for a quick call to action. There is a campaign that is launched this weekend, and it's important that we be active this weekend because this action just happened yesterday. So if you look up, I made a post nice and easy on my LinkedIn page. You can search Melody Gonzalez, and you can see a sample post and some of the sample social media graphics. And you can also see 2 key links that I'd love for you to take a look at. One is to sign up for UCAN, the UC Advocacy Network. They're sending emails so that you can know when there's actions to take. They send links that make it super easy to just click and write your members of Congress or state electeds, whatever's needed. And then you'll also see a link around the Stand Up for UC campaign. And that's a hashtag. So I would also encourage you, if you're comfortable sharing on your social media platforms, share, create a post that's in your own voice and your own spirit about what's important for standing up for UCLA and UC right now. And use the hashtag #StandUpForUC. Okay, and if you have any questions, I'll be around for a bit, so we can also talk a little bit after this, but I feel like this is just urgent. This is breaking news, and as we're gathered here together as leaders, this is a super easy way to step into advocacy if that's something that's newer for you. And as we talk about the importance of being bold and courageous leaders, I'm really excited to introduce you to our keynote luncheon speaker. The theme of our lunch is Empower, Influence, Lead, Creating Change from Where You Stand. So please help me welcome community leader, educator, artist, nonprofit strategist, fan of neighborhood cafes, and a UCSD graduate, Rebecca Smith.
Empower, influence, and lead. Really bold moves, big moves that we will be making for the rest of our lives. And because those are such big and bold moves, I really wanted to key in on our subtitle today, which is actually creating change from where you stand. So you're settled for lunch and you're thinking, all right, I'll sit back and see what she has to say. But we're in a world, as Melody just said, we are in a world that is turned upside down. And so the more that we could be ready for the unexpected, the more that we could be ready for what unsettles us, then the more I believe we can be ready for what's ahead as we lead forward. So creating change from where you stand, I'm actually going to, this is my know your audience moment, and you get to know each other moment as well. I'm going to actually ask you to stand, if you will, to stand if you graduated after the year 2000. Awesome. Stay standing if you graduated after the year 2020. And stay standing if you graduated just in 2025. All right. Stand if you graduated before the year 2000. There's experience standing. There is wisdom standing. So as we've heard this morning, this is about finding stories from each other to tell, lessons that we are learning from each other. And so for these graduates from before the year 2000, look around and see maybe if there's a way that you can meet one of these graduates from before the year 2000. Thank you. You can go ahead and sit down. We have lots of people that may be visiting from outside San Diego. Please stand. If you are visiting today from outside San Diego, thank you for taking the trip. And stay standing, thank you, if you are from outside California today. All right, thank you. Stand if you have ever found a job from someone that you met at an event. Stand up if you found a job through someone that you met at an event. Again, wisdom and experience here, and stay standing if that event was hosted by UCSD. All right. What was the event?
It was the UCSD API graduation ceremony where I graduated.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. All right, stand up if you have ever found a job through an internship. We know internships rule. Yes, thank you very much. And then stand up if you have ever been hired by a UCSD graduate. Again, there are stories here, right? And also a note to all of us. UCSD graduates do hire. Stand up if you want to write a book. For some reason, I find lots of people in the community who want to write books. All right, here we go. And then stand up if you have written a book, and you know who you are, and I do too. Stand up if you have written a book. All right. So here's the other thing I know about people who have written books. There's passion there, right? There's a topic they wanted to get out into the world, and there's discipline, and there's connection. So I'm hoping, as I'm asking you to stand, you're looking at each other and seeing people who have done something that you might want to do. Stand up if you want to host a podcast. Oh, all right. All right. Stay standing if you already host a podcast. Title of the podcast? I think podcast titles are super cool. Podcast title.
My podcast is called Men Folk Journeys, about conversations with men.
Men Folk Journeys, Conversations with Men. There, I just put that out there for you. Title of your podcast?
I'm actually a co-host. It's San Diego Tech News, like this week in San Diego Tech News.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. All right, we are in a season of change, and this is not a question about asking about changing your job. No. This is stand up if you wish you could change your job title. Stand up if you could change your job title. All right. Stand up if you appreciate and even celebrate your job title. Stand up if you appreciate and celebrate your job title. Awesome. Again, think about this in this room. What I know is that people that appreciate and celebrate their job titles are usually people who also appreciate and celebrate their work, which means for those of you that might be thinking about change, guess who you should talk to. All right. Stand up if you are a parent. Stand up if you are a parent. All right. Thank you for being here today, getting away from, I don't know, the soccer games, right? All the things. The parents are here. Stand up, thank you, if you volunteer for a nonprofit organization. Stand up if you volunteer for a nonprofit organization. All right, UCSD is in the community. Stay standing if you serve on the board of that nonprofit organization. Again, UCSD in the community and in leadership positions, which is really cool to see. Thank you for all that you do. Stand up if you have made a career transition within the last year. Stand up if you've made a career transition in the last year. What is it about this table over here, right? Again, lessons learned, wisdom, experience, thank you. If I'm seeing someone who's made a career transition in the last year, it's still fresh, it's still raw. What did you do? There are things happening now in our workplace that are very different from what we have seen in the past. And so if you've made a transition in the past year, hopefully you have some lessons that you can share with other people in the room. Even after last night's game, stand up if you are a San Diego Padres fan. Oh, come on, let's represent San Diego Padres fans. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So you've had a chance to stand, and we created change from where we were standing because I saw people who have a dream. They want to write a book. I saw people who have gone through transition, which is challenging and difficult, and yet a lot of times really exciting. We created change from where we stand because there was also, I'm hoping, a moment of recognition when you were looking across the room and saying, I'm not alone in what I am doing. And so if there's anything that I really wanted to, Melody asked me this earlier, like what is it that you are hoping to share with everyone today? And really it's this, and I'll start with it so that if there is something else that you may take away from our time together, that's great. But here's what I really do want you to know, is that I believe that if you are here, you showed up on a sunny Saturday in the summer in San Diego, look outside, right? And you are here. You left your families, your golf games, your farmers markets, yes, your children, to be here. I don't take that lightly. You decided to commit to your development, to your learning, to your connection, to getting out of your comfort zone, to creating change from right here where you stand. And so I do believe now, more than ever, all of you are needed in this world. Think of everything that Melody just shared. Think of what you've already heard from your presenters this morning. You are needed in this world. So I am a UCSD graduate. You can check the conference website to see the year. Muir College sociology major. And I did one of my 3 internships, like I said, internships rule, one of my 3 internships at the Belly Up Tavern in Solana Beach. You don't need to stand, but you can raise your hand if you've been to. Yes, I heard a whoo, yes. Jazz, funk, R&B, blues, sometimes country, right? And I can tell you it gives me really great street cred with my 20-something son and his friends when I say, I did my internship in college at the Belly Up Tavern in Solana Beach. If you haven't had a chance to go, I am a supporter, not just of local cafes, but of local music venues. So please go. I'm a graduating senior, and I was talking to one of my internship mentors there, one of the talent scouts. His name is Mac, and he hustled. That was really hard work to do back then. Before you could do anything technology-wise, you were just literally calling up bands and artists, making sure that they came down to San Diego and not just stayed up in Los Angeles. But he took time, as really great internship mentors do, to talk with me. He said, Rebecca, graduation's coming up. What are you going to do? And I just said, Mac, I don't know. I have so many questions. You graduated from UCSD. You remember that time, right? I said, first of all, what can I do with a sociology major? I want to read. I want to write. I want to teach. But what if I don't want to work in a school? I want to travel. Like, will anyone pay me to travel? I want to help people, but do I have to be a social worker to do that? I want to afford a house. I don't know how I'm going to do that. And when would I even start a family? So Mac, I just really have a lot of questions. And so I don't really know. Like, what do I do? I want to make a difference. And I don't know the job title for making a difference. And Mac looked at me, and he said something that I remember even to this day. Many years later, again, conference website, that's the year. Mac said, Rebecca, enjoy the confusion. Enjoy the confusion. Which reminds me of a quote that comes from a book that I just absolutely love and I give to lots of college graduates in my life. Letters to a Young Poet, German poet Wilke in 1902. He said, be patient towards all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. Love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are written in a very foreign tongue. Love the questions. Enjoy the confusion. And there might be some of you here who said, Rebecca, I did show up on a sunny summer Saturday in San Diego because I have questions and I want to make a difference and I want to absolutely believe that I am needed in this world. So if I were to ask you what resonates so far, I don't have the luxury of being able to sit with you at a local cafe. But I do want to invite just a few of you to just tell me in a few words what resonates so far. And remember, as a longtime educator, this is the moment where I could be very still and also very comfortable with waiting for someone to speak. Just simply raise your hand and a microphone runner will come to you.
One of the things that resonates so far is just as you're having people stand up, it's seeing how we are all connected and in a diverse way, like noticing like, oh, yeah, I stood up 3 or 4 times with the same person. It's like, oh, maybe I should go talk to that person.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Commonality, lots of commonality. Someone else, what resonates so far? Remember, we talked about big and bold moves. Jose, go ahead.
I would have to say purpose. Everybody here has a purpose. Like you said, the example, we all made the choice to come here today and attend this event. So just understanding everybody's purpose and why they're here and what kind of inspires them.
Yes, very cool, thank you. I'm a fan of threes. If any of you know me, I do wait for the third, because the third comment is the person that says, all right, Rebecca, I'm gonna raise my hand and I'm gonna share what resonates with me. Yes, in the back, thank you.
Everybody I've met today wants to help, and I feel like I want to help. And we learned that the word help this morning in our breakout is very, very powerful, and probably one of the most powerful words that we can use. And I've been very impressed. I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to get from this whole day, but I feel like I've gotten so much so far.
That's so good. That's so good. And the day is not even yet half over. So thank you for speaking up, and thank you for sharing about what resonates with you so far. Even though we talk about changing job titles, and I'm about to read a book I just got from Harvard Press called Employment is Dead. So sociology major like me who took a class from Mary Walshock back in the day, the sociology of work, I get to see that job titles, yes, are a part of how we identify the work that we do, but they are not everything. And yet, I will say here in San Diego, I've had the opportunity to work for some very cool places with, yes, some very cool job titles. I had a chance to be a professor at the School of Education in University of San Diego. I was employee number 18 at a place called High Tech High. And at High Tech High, during the 8 years that I was there, I had 7 different job titles before I landed at Qualcomm, working as a career advisor. Then I was vice president at the San Diego Workforce Partnership, where we deployed Department of Labor dollars back then out into the community to so many really cool organizations, including the University of California, San Diego. And also a job title that I had was as a board member for the United Way of San Diego County. I will have to say, though, my favorite title, if you will, was as an appointed official for the city of San Diego, where I had the opportunity to be an art commissioner. And it was very fun to go up to events. My husband would laugh and people would say, "Good evening, Commissioner Smith. So great to see you." Since then, I've also then worked as a consultant in my own practice. And so less about jobs, less about titles, more about the work. And so whether it's doing a strategic board retreat for junior achievement, or doing a creative employee engagement project for AAA, or doing a recruiting strategy for Manpower. There's so much going on in the world right now that is so much apart from the title that you hold and more about the work that you do. Although I will say these are my favorite titles as wife and mama. It really is about not just the purpose, right, Jose, but also about the people. And my husband calls this the Jimble Jamble slide. These pictures, I get a little emotional here because these pictures represent to me people's paths, creating change from where they stand. Once upon a time, 3 of these professionals I hired straight out of graduate school, 1 from here at UCSD. 3 of these professionals now hold PhD degrees and are just doing amazing work in our community. 3 now hold executive director roles. And remember, They were graduate students once upon a time, and 2 of these professionals, I was their first boss in San Diego. Again, I don't take these career paths lightly. We all in this room get an opportunity to pour into other people in this way. And if any of you are thinking, I don't know, Rebecca, I don't see that because I just graduated like 2 years ago. Once upon a time, I was also a graduating senior thinking I have so many questions. Let's take a look at where our upside down world is right now. I'm just pulling a few numbers that are intriguing for me in the work that I do. 60% of managers, this is from a Forbes article that posted a study in 2021, 2022. 60% of managers report that they have a lack of formal training. So many times, especially when I talk to young professionals and they say, oh, Rebecca, like, how do I get this promotion? Or I really want to be developed, or my manager won't have the difficult conversations, or I just really haven't been onboarded well. 60% of managers report a lack of formal training. There's opportunity here. Robert Half International, a staffing agency, just recently posted this report. 73% of American professionals want to stay in their jobs. This is different from what Gallup reported a few years ago when they said everyone, right, wanted to leave their jobs in the Great Resignation, if you will. The world is turned upside down. It's different. So 73% of American professionals want to stay in their jobs, though the people that are thinking about leaving, this is interesting for me in the work that I do. They want to switch industries or they want to consider contracting, meaning they're talking about upending their employment agreement altogether. I want to switch careers, or I don't want the full-time, whatever that means, job, and I'm willing to consider the uncertainty of contracting. This next statistic is hard for me because I've worked with college students for so many years. But for young professionals right now, ages 22 to 27, they are facing a 5.8% unemployment rate. This is as of March 2025. Recent numbers for the national unemployment rate are at 4.2%. If you know a young person out there, you are needed in this world. 85% of jobs in the year 2030, according to the World Economic Forum, don't even exist yet. When the great shutdown, the great distancing started, and we were all on Zoom, realize that Zoom only started in the year 2011. And a statistic that I have used for many, many years, and which is why I hope all of you are enjoying this event as well, is that 85% of our jobs are found through not just people that you know, but people that know you. Here's another quote that I want to share with you as you are thinking through creating change from where you stand. This quote is convicting. In times of change, and we are in times of change, learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. So thank you for being learners today. And in the few moments that we have remaining, I just wanted to share the 3 sort of ways that we wanted to think about being empowered and influenced and acting. And those 3 ways are intention, influence, and then yes, because the world needs us, action. And so there are no hard and fast, like these are the 10 rules or the 5 factors. I just really wanted to riff on a lot of what I'm hearing from the people in the community right now. The things that may be really, really important to them around intention. You have your own aspects, but I just wanted to share with you these few. If we think of intention as how we show up, meaning our presence, and yes, you have a whole afternoon in front of you at this event. Think about our tone and our vibe. I spoke to a group of students at another university recently, and I said, we want to lead with respect. And even if you are new in the workplace, what I said to those young students is, leading with respect is going to get you really far. Then remember, the learners inherit the earth. Can we engage with curiosity? Once upon a time, I will say a while ago, that was harder for me because I wanted to engage with certainty. And yet, the more that I see our world turns upside down, engaging with curiosity is really where we get way more juice squeezed out of what we've got in front of us. And finally, then, finish with gratitude. So leading with respect, engaging with curiosity, and leading, then finishing with gratitude. We all know the Maya Angelou quote, right? People will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but they will not forget how you made them feel. So with intention, our presence really, truly matters. I'm not going to go into like, how do we really stay present in the moment? How do we put down the phone? How do we enter into a space and say, I have been rested, I have been refreshed, and so I am here for you? How do I not show up to a meeting late? How do I make sure that when I am at that meeting, I am going to be there and not take lightly this moment that we have in front of us? So 3 things that have come up for me around intention. Like I said, I don't have like a top 10 or a top 5, just 3 that were interesting for me recently. And the first one is talking to strangers. The second one is making an introduction. And the third is managing our energy. We don't have a lot of time, so here we go. Talking to strangers. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book about talking to strangers and talked about how the act of talking to somebody that you do not know, even if it's really quick, Hannah and Christina doing the headshots in the next room, how can we make sure that that moment is about us noticing who they are? Noticing who that person is in front of you. Joe Kiyohane also wrote a book called The Power of Strangers. Again, look up the research. It brings us empathy. It helps us practice our curiosity. And for those of us that want to find our jobs through someone who knows us, talking to strangers is a really great way to be intentional about our presence. Secondly, the value of making an introduction. And I'm not talking about just on LinkedIn. I'm talking about even today as you show up, and yes, you still have the afternoon. Is there somebody that you met this morning that you're thinking, someone at my table actually should meet them because they have common interests, because someone is looking for work and somebody I know is hiring? A practice of mine is to actually make a significant introduction at least once a week. Sometimes that turns into work for somebody else, but I had to share this story because it's just about to happen. Once upon a time, I made an introduction for a colleague, now friend of mine, who then ended up working at a local educational institution, and through that job with another school, found the woman that he's going to marry next weekend. Right? Making an introduction. Finally, the power of being intentional about managing our energy. So I'm quoting from the work of Tony Schwartz. His book is called The Power of Full Engagement. I'm a little struck by how these books are the power of talking to strangers and the power of full engagement. So there is power in these intentional practices. Managing our energy. I could talk for many hours about this, but I won't here. Here's what I'll say. The work of Tony Schwartz says that when we manage our energy, there are 4 aspects: physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental. I can't give you more time, even if I wanted to. You couldn't get more time, buy more time, even if you had the money or the means to do so. But what you can get is more energy. And when we have more energy, we can show up with intention, be present in the moment, and actually give value to the project, the person, the world needs you right now. And managing our energy is a way that we can absolutely do that. Again, it's the physical, the spiritual, the mental, and the emotional. Our influence, then, is how we reach out. If we have taken care of ourselves with intention, we're rested, managing our energy, we are filled up with the people in our worlds because we are making great introductions and people are making those introductions for us. And then there's this really fun beauty of talking to strangers, because now remember too, for any of you that were raised maybe as I was, which is thou shalt not talk to strangers, this is learned behavior. I do feel like I just need to say that. This is learned behavior, and remember, the learners inherit the earth. Influence, 3 things. Remember, rule of 3. Mentoring, sponsorship, and then something that I just really want to talk a lot more about, not today, but in the future, is this notion of illumination. I know that in your workshops this morning, you had a chance to talk about communication and leadership and networking, and I know mentoring was brought up. Be a mentor. Make sure you have mentors. Take care of your mentors, just as they are taking care of you. And then for those of us that are seasoned in our careers, might we also consider reverse mentoring? So I'm going to put it out there, I'm going to say it very quickly, and then I'm going to then hold myself accountable because I've said it now to all of you. I did not grow up with role models that looked like me. At this point in my career, I'm actually watching out in the community some young women who are in business in San Diego who are Filipinas, and I want to reach out to them and say, share with me what you know. Talk to me about business. Talk to me about technology. Share with me, teach me social media. I already talked to one of them recently at an event, and I said, Lauren, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. And she was like, are you serious? We're going to have some fun. Reverse mentoring. But around that, again, so much research out there about the value of mentoring. Take this moment, in your mind, scan, who are my mentors? And when I say take care of them, it's a weekend. Send a quick thank you text. Call if you can. Mentoring, so important around our influence. Sponsorship, you may know of, because it's not just the mentoring, we're talking over coffee and I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. Sponsorship is that actual, I am going to pick up the phone and say, you absolutely need to meet Andrew because he is going to add value to your organization. He is going to rock those projects that you have that need that kind of leadership and direction and organization, and I can vouch for him personally, and he has my highest recommendation. Think of the guy who's getting married? I sent an email like that once upon a time to his former boss. And I said, I've worked with him, I know him, and I can vouch for him personally. Now, we can't do that for everyone in our world, and we shouldn't, but when we can we be a sponsor for somebody else? I know how to do that because people did that for me. And lastly, this notion of being an illuminator comes from David Brooks. His new book is called How to Know a Person, right? It's about knowing people really, really well, which you are all doing at this event right now. Illuminators take the time to be curious. Illuminators take the time to shine light on a situation. Illuminators then bring up somebody in their work. It happened here for me just half an hour ago. Where's Philippe? Is Philippe still here? Philippe might not be here. Philippe had a session this morning, and Jose came up to me and he said, I was just in the best session ever. And I said, awesome, tell me about it. And he said, it was Philippe. And then I said, well, I know Philippe, Philippe's great. But then I asked Jose one more question. I said, tell me what it was about that session that was so great. And he said it was his storytelling and his engagement. So Philippe's not here right now, but I'm going to be an illuminator because it's important. And I'm going to reach out to Philippe later and I'm going to tell him, Philippe, it was great to see you. And I heard from one of the participants in your session, engagement, storytelling, awesome. It is that simple to be an illuminator, and I believe we really need to be, we need to be more about illumination in these worlds turned upside down. So, intention, influence, and finally, action. I will by when. It's a simple statement, but it's a statement that holds as much power as you want to give it. In front of you on the table, what have appeared while you were away, are these cards that say, let's go. Remember, I'm a San Diego Padres fan. If you can pick up a card, there should be a card for each of you. And if you can write on that card this statement that's right here. Now, by I will, that is not necessarily I will write a book. But it could be as easy as I will talk to someone who has written a book. I will reach out to somebody who coaches people on writing books. I don't know what that might be for you, but try to make this action as small, and I don't mean insignificant, but I mean as small, as specific, and measurable, and timely as possible, which is why the by when is here as well. So I will by when. I just committed to all of you that I'm going to reach out to Philippe and tell him about a participant's comment on his workshop. It's that small and yet very meaningful. You might have heard something this morning, a book that you should probably research. Maybe you met someone in the lunch line and you said, I need to meet with that person for coffee and take them to coffee. And maybe that's the action that you want to take. But based on our time here together, what is something that you will do and by when? Again, I'm quoting research that's out there that you can find. If you write it down, when you write it down, here's that word again, power. There's so much more power to it. I work in threes, remember, if we could get, got our microphone runners ready to go, if we could get just a few of you, because if there is power in writing it down, I can also tell you there's power in speaking out. This is what I'm going to do in front of 100 or so people here today. So if I can get a few of you, 3 to be exact, to share what your action is. Raise your hand and the microphone runners will come to you. Thanks. Right over here. Oh, we've got one. Go for it.
Okay. Hi, my name's PJ. I was also in the Amazing Philippe session.
Very
and
cool.
He
I'll let
told
him
us
know.
to talk or think about our vision for what we want to have accomplished by the time we retire. And for me, it's pursuing some form of teaching. And so what I'm going to commit to action is to reach out to 2 of my mentors who are teachers to start on that journey for myself by Friday, I said.
Very cool. Can we give PJ a big hand for saying that? PJ and I serve on the board of a charter school downtown, and we're not talking enough about how we need teachers. We're not. And so I'm excited for you, and we're ready for you. Thank you. Over here, someone with an action. Yes.
Hello, so my name is Tyler, and so I am a current history major, so I'm just looking to get more involved in my field. And so this summer I've been helping out at a local museum by my house, and I've been helping them construct a new exhibit. And so I will see that the exhibit's completed by the end of the summer.
Wow, very cool. Tyler, wait, hold on. Tyler, can you tell us the name of the museum and the name of the exhibit?
So the name of the museum is the Diego Sepulveda Adobe, located in Estancia Park in Costa Mesa. So that's in Orange County. And the name of the exhibit is, it's going to be about the influence of the Santa Ana River on the development of the Inland Empire in Orange County.
Very cool. Thank you, Tyler. One more person. Muya, right? Yes. All right.
There's a
Texas San Diego podcaster here, and I feel like I need to network that with
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So here's where we'll close. I read to you the quote from Letters to a Young Poet earlier about loving the questions now, but here's how that passage finishes. Live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then, gradually, without knowing it, live along some distant day into the answer. Thank you.